Hi everyone, it's me. So this morning I looked on my time hop and I realized that today, 8 years ago, I came out of the closet for the very first time. And I thought all day about it and kind of realized that, it's Pride Month and I am proud of who I am and proud of the person that I've become. And it's 2018, a year where even though we've, come so far, there's still kids that feel the same way that I did as a young kid, where they're not comfortable enough to come out of the closet like I did. And so I thought that, with everything that's going on in the world right now and everything that's happening in my life right now, that it is important for me to share my coming out story and kind of what that looks like for me and what that looked like and what it looks like now for me. So I guess I'll start at the very beginning. I have known that I was gay my whole life, obviously, and growing up in the Nazarene church is something that, I say that I've known I was gay for my whole life, but I believe now that I was born gay, and I believe that this is who God made me to be, and that's something that I very firmly believe, but I was not necessarily raised with that mindset. I didn't really know that it was possible to be born gay, and so I have known that I was gay for my entire life, and through my middle school years, when I was about 10 to 15, I kind of struggled with the fact that I was a homosexual man, and what did that look like being raised in a Christian home, and being raised by such Christ-like people that I didn't want to disrespect or let down or make feel like I was a failure to them, but also kind of pairing that with how do I live my life as a good person, how do I not go to hell, things like that I had to struggle with to get to the point I am today. And so when I was 16 years old, I was on a mission trip with my two best friends at the time, and my best friend of all time, Grayson, was the first person that I told I was gay, and that was a big step for me because I had always feared the straight male. I had always feared straight guys who were not like me and saw me as a different thing and saw me as something that made them uncomfortable, even though I had not even come out as gay. I was just a flamboyant person. But I told my straight male best friend that I was gay, and I was met with love and support and all of the good things that I wanted from coming out of the closet and all of the acceptance that I needed from coming out of the closet. And from there on, it was just a movement with me, and I came out to all of my friends and everything basically in one summer. I came out to all of my friends before I came out to my parents, which might be a little bit unconventional, but I was very uncomfortable with telling my parents that I was gay because I didn't know what reaction that would be met with, and I wanted to build my confidence up. So I told people that I knew that would accept me right off the bat. I've told all my friends at this point, and now it's time for me to cross the bridge and tell my parents that I'm gay. And I had already previously told them that I was bisexual because in some weird way in my mind, that made me feel a little bit better that, hey, I could still end up with a girl. And in my mind, I actually thought that maybe I could, push that away forever and never think about it and end up with a woman, and that would just be the way that it was. But I've always been this way, and I was made this way, and I knew in my heart deep down that that would never be an option for me, and I didn't want to live my life unable to express myself and unable to express my feelings towards someone. So I decided that it was time to tell them the full truth that I was a gay man, and I told my mom first, and it was met with a negative reaction. And I told my dad, and they both kind of had my dad took it better than my mom, but it was both negative reactions, and it wasn't the love and acceptance that I had hoped for. And at that age, all you want is approval from people. You just want people to tell you that you're right and that you're okay and that nothing is wrong. And I didn't get that from my parents. But now if we flash forward to now, my parents are the most loving and accepting people. They have accepted me for who I am. They don't care, and they love me because I'm their child, and that's really amazing. And see, for most people, it kind of ends there. But my coming out story was kind of a longer process. After I came out, I didn't have an identity anymore with some of my friends. Some of my friends made me feel like I was their gay best friend, and I hated that role. I didn't want to play that role. And some people just made me feel like, oh, I'm that token gay kid. I mean, for a long time, I was the only gay person that I knew. And I felt like I had to represent a community, and I was 16 years old. And so, I had a little bit of an identity crisis. I didn't know who I was, and that kind of threw me into a deep, dark, depressive state, and I struggled a lot with depression and anxiety through the end of my high school career after I came out. But, once I kind of realized that I was who I was, and it didn't matter what other people thought of me, and I didn't care what other people thought of me, that made all of the difference. I didn't have to worry about what other people were saying behind my back, or what people thought of the way that I dressed, or what people thought of the way that my voice sounded. I didn't have to worry about any of that. And so that was kind of the turning point for me, where I said, hey, I am who I am, and this is all that matters to me. And it took that moment for me to come out of that really dark time. But now we can flash forward to now. As I said, my parents love and accept me no matter what. My parents have really done a 180. It was really hard for us for a long time to not get along, but to see eye to eye. And we had a lot of issues between us because of this one thing. And my parents, I did not feel accepted by them. I always felt loved by them because I knew that their love was unconditional, and it didn't matter if I was gay, straight, black, purple, white. It didn't matter what I was. It was the fact that they believe that being gay is a sin. And they still, I would say, believe that being gay is a sin, and they don't necessarily agree with that. But right now, I will 100% tell you that my parents do not believe that being gay is a choice. They do not believe that I'm a bad person, and they love me, and it has made our relationship just grow that much closer. And that's really the takeaway from this, is that my parents and I love each other so much now, even though we still get in little squabbles every now and again. But we love each other so much that doesn't even matter, because they know who I really am, and they can go to bed at night knowing exactly who I am and what my hopes and dreams are. And so, after all of that being said, that's really my coming out story, is just, the takeaway is that, you have to be ready for a lot to happen, but it does get better. And you will live a life that you never could have imagined. I remember being a young kid and in middle school and thinking about how I could never have a family, I could never have kids, I could never have a family unit like I wanted to have. It's always been my dream to be a dad, and I didn't think for the longest time that I could ever have that. But since I've come out, I've realized that I can have that, and it's an attainable thing. It's something that I can grab onto very easily, and that I can have love in my life, and I can love somebody, and I can get married. It's the law of the land now. I can do anything that a normal straight couple could do now, and that's exciting to me. So when I see people, young kids or young people, struggling with the fact that they have a different sexuality or a different orientation than everyone else, and they're afraid of this or that, or however it works, it just, this is the reason that I make this video, because I want them to understand from somebody like me. I grew up so religious and thought it was a sin. I thought I was going to hell for the longest time. And now I've reconciled my faith with my sexuality, and I still am a devout Christian. I love God, and I follow Christ every day. I try my hardest to be a good person, because that is what Christ calls me to do. And so, yeah, but I've made my way through a dark place, and I can tell you right now that eventually it's not dark anymore. It gets so much happier and so much better, and you feel better about yourself. And you can have a life that you never even thought that you could have, and you can be happier than you could ever thought you could have been. So that's my coming out story, and that's my little take on the world and my life. So happy coming out anniversary to me. Bye.